welcome back to another online video. Today we are going to be doing a craft, and today it's going to be actually a bit of a shorter video than usual, but it's just a really fun video of some different things that you can do using crayons. And you don't need a lot for this activity. All you're going to need is a large piece of paper. Thicker paper works better. You need a piece of parchment paper that is about the same size as your paper. As well, you're going to need different colored crayons. You are going to need an iron. And lastly, you are going to need either a cheese grater or a zester. So once you gather those different things, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so hopefully you have all of those supplies gathered and ready to go. So before we get started, I'm just going to give you a rundown of what exactly we are going to be doing here. So as you might know this, crayons can melt, and there's a lot of things that you can do using melted crayons or melting crayons after you have drawn. So essentially what we are going to do here is I want you to draw a picture, and it can be any picture you want. For me, I'm going to be doing a couple trees and a sky, just very, very basic to show you what we're going to do here. And then after you've drawn your picture, we are going to actually shred some of these crayons, and we are then going to melt them down using our iron. So I want you to think about that before you start drawing. You're going to want to draw something that's going to make sense. For example, with my trees, my shredded crayons are going to act as the leaves. You could also do a picture to resemble rain, where you could draw a silhouette of somebody near the bottom of your page, and then using different colors of blue crayons, you can melt them down to make it look like it is raining. I might do a couple of these with you to give you a couple different ideas of what's possible, but I want you to keep that in mind before we start drawing so that you know in your head what you want your picture to look like. So, like I said, I'm going to do a couple trees to start, just something very simple and basic. And then we are going to come back and I'm going to show you how I am going to grate and melt my crayons. So let's go ahead and get started. I want you to also get started on drawing your picture. Okay, so I have just drawn a very, very, very basic picture for you, just so you could kind of see how this works. So I have gone ahead and I have peeled a few crayons that I would like to use for my leaves. In this case, I'm going to be using yellow, orange, and red. So what I want you to do now is wherever you are going to grate your crayons, you're just going to grab your grater, and over that area you are just going to start grating your crayons. Had it the wrong way there. So take your cheese grater or your shredder like what I have, the zester, and you are just going to shred your crayon over the area that you want. I'm going to try and get lots of crayon here because I want this tree to look very full. So as you can see, it's coming off really nicely. And I'm just going to keep shredding until I get to a point where I am happy with the amount of crayon that I have in my desired area. So you're going to do the exact same thing, whatever picture you're doing, wherever you want your crayon, you're just going to go ahead and continue shredding until you have gotten your desired amount of shredded crayon. Okay, so I have just finished shredding my crayon on the desired area that I want the crayon to be melted on. So now you can probably see why I did a very simple picture, and that's because I want the crayon to be kind of the focal point of my picture. So a nice thing that you can do with an art project like this is you can actually go back and add more detail once the crayon is melted if you want to. So if you're finding you did too simple of a picture and you want to go back and add more detail, you can absolutely do that. That is definitely an option for this kind of craft that we're doing. So the next step of this is I need you to go ahead and have your parchment paper beside you and go ahead and start heating up your iron. Once your iron is completely heated up, come back and we will do the next step. Okay, so once your iron is completely ready to go, you are going to then take your parchment paper and gently place it over your picture. Just like that. Now we're going to take our iron and we are going to slowly go around our whole picture. And you will be able to see when your crayon is melted. As you can see, I've just lifted away my iron and I can see that the crayon is melting as I move my iron across my picture. I'm just going to do the last part here. Make sure I got everything. And just like that, all my crayon is melted. So I'm going to go ahead and gently remove my parchment paper. Now it looks like I've missed a little spot here. So I'm just going to go back, put my parchment paper back on, and go over that area one more time. Just like that. So if this happens to you, that's all you need to do is just take your parchment paper, place it back over, and then lift. Okay. So as you can see, all my crayon has completely melted to my picture. And I have what looks like a tree with leaves blowing in the wind. Now, this is just one way that you can use crayons in a picture. And it's a really easy way to get a really different texture in your picture as well. So if I wanted to, I could go back and I could add some more detail. I could add some more crayon shavings, which I think I actually might do. I might add a little bit of green into my tree as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and let's continue. Okay, so I have just added a little bit of green onto my picture. I just think it's going to add a really nice color to the leaves. So I'm gonna go ahead, take my parchment paper, place it over, and I'm going to slowly go over that with my iron. Now I'm going to move my parchment paper over. And I'm going to continue. Okay, I think all of my green crayon is melted, so I'm going to take off my parchment paper. And there we are. We have some green now in my tree, which I think looks a lot nicer. And now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go back and add a little more detail to the base of my tree, and then we are completely done our project. So at this point, if you are finding you want more crayon, go ahead and shred more crayon onto your picture and then just go ahead and melt it. So there's always room to add more crayon. It's really nice that you're able to kind of add more if you want to. Very, very easy to do. Or if at this point you're also finding that you want some more detail in your picture, go ahead and do that. That's what I'm gonna do next here is I'm gonna add a little bit more detail. So I will be back to show you the final product. Okay, so all I have done to my picture is I have just gone ahead and added some more color into the tree trunk and the grass. And this is the final product. So I really hope that you enjoyed this craft, and I think it's just a really great way that you can use crayon in your picture that's a little bit different from just coloring with it. So I would really love to see what you made using shredded crayons, and if you could send me a picture, I would absolutely love to see what you made. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.